Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Hey, mama. If you are a mom and are tired of the wash, rinse, repeat burnout cycle of motherhood, this podcast is for you. If you feel lonely and isolated in your motherhood journey, this podcast is for you. If you feel like you have completely lost your identity since your babies were born, this podcast is for you. If you feel like every other mom has it together except for you, this podcast is for you. My name is Amanda, and I'm a life coach dedicated to teaching every mom the tools she needs to liberate herself off the back burner. I am living proof that a woman can be present and loving to her kids while also being a whole-ass person outside of being that kid's mom. The secret? Learning when to say fuck it.
Hello. So my lighting is a little bit better today. It is the jankiest system ever. I took my ring light and I took picture hangers, the command strip picture hangers, and I fucking taped it right up there. What is that? Oh God, I'm an idiot. I saw my TV in the upper left-hand corner here, and then the record, like blinking light, is up there. So it made it look like there was like two recordings happening, and like the black TV screen was like a separate camera. I'm like, is my phone doing something? I'm fine. We're good, guys. We're going to get through this. So happy Monday. Yes, I am recording this on Monday, so y'all won't get it until, later today, but it will still be technically on time because it'll be on Monday that it's released. Getting better. But I just got back from a trip to Tennessee. So my oldest two are in competitive dance, and nationals this year was in Knoxville, Tennessee. Well, they marketed it as Knoxville. It was actually Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And we were all like, the fuck is Pigeon Forge? Like, what is in Pigeon Forge? Pigeon Forge is Wisconsin Dells on crack. Like, there's so many things to do, none of which we got to do because we were dancing. My best friend and I decided to drive together because her oldest, so it was 3 kids and then us 2. And we were like, we need to drive. Let's just drive. It'll be cheaper than flying. And also we'll have our vehicle. Like last year for nationals, it was in South Carolina, and it was just me and my oldest Aowen. So I'm going to be referring to my kids' names throughout this episode. So I'm just going to give you guys like quick rundown of who my kids are, what their names are. So that way I don't have to explain or try to remember, oh, my 12-year-old or my 10-year-old, like no, names. So I have 4 beautiful, wonderful daughters. The oldest is Aowen. She is 12. The second is Aria. She's 10. Then there's Laurelyn at 8 years old and Ozzy at 6 years old. Anyways, so we drove to Tennessee with Aowen and Aria and then her daughter, who is the same age as Aowen. It was a 16-hour drive. I mean, we did it in 15 and a half hours. Technically, it's like 14 hours if you don't stop. So we managed to only stop 4 times, which, okay, I got to be honest, I'm so impressed with the kids. Because I was like, oh God, this is going to take like 20 hours with all the stops we're going to have to do. But they were troopers. They really, really were troopers. So yeah, we banged it out. And I say we, like my friend did all the driving. I offered, just to be clear, I offered a bunch of times. And she just likes driving. She can't fall asleep in the car. And so she's just like, I don't mind. Plus she's from Pittsburgh, so she's used to long drives. I think she said the drive from Wisconsin to Pittsburgh is about 14 hours as well. So she's used to that type of drive. And she was fine with it. So it's like, okay. But we drove there in one day, and then we were dancing for 5 days, and then we drove home that night. So the final day of competition was Friday. We left Tennessee at 8 p.m. because, Jess was done. Like she was already just like, let's just drive through the night. And I was like, that's kind of a lot. Let's just get halfway or as close to halfway as possible. And then just find a super cheap hotel, get some sleep, and, get on the road again as early as possible the next morning. But then I had a breaking point on Friday. So Aria performed on Friday, like really early in the morning. Her call time was 7:30, and then she was performing at like 8:30 or something in the morning. But then we had a pretty significant break. Oh no, and then my friend's daughter performed shortly after Aria. And then we had a significant break until Aowen had to perform. So, well, Aowen and my friend's daughter. So we went and had some like proper breakfast because, we just woke up and grabbed our bag of snacks and went to the convention center, got the kids on stage. So we were all starving. And we went to this breakfast place. We were in a booth and I was sitting next to Aowen and she got pancakes. So she didn't even need a knife. Like, I don't know why we were doing a butter knife to cut fucking pancakes. But she was like this with her elbows out. And I lost it. That was the straw that broke this camel's back. I started like hysterically laughing and crying at the restaurant. And I was like, I'm done. I can't be here anymore. Let's just drive through the night. And Jess was like, wow, yes, let's do it. Because she was fully done. But that was my breaking point, was an elbow in my fucking bubble that didn't need to be there. Because we also were sharing a room together. So the five of us were sharing a room and, confined in the car. It was just like so much togetherness. And I could not have done it with very many people. And as far as like this dance family here in Wisconsin, Jess is it. That's it. She's the only one that I could do that much togetherness with. It was a lot of togetherness, and that elbow did me in. It was just like one elbow in my fucking bubble too many, and we were done. So we drove all night long. She finally did let me drive when we stopped in Stoughton, Wisconsin, which is only like 3.5 hours away from my house, like because she lives in Minnesota. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this. Details do not matter. My house was the first stop. I did get to drive the last 3.5 hours because her sciatic nerve flared up and she's finally done driving. But I wanted to do this episode on that dance mom life because dance moms get a really bad rap because of that stupid fucking show. Y'all, we're not crazy like that. Not all of us. Some of them are. I really love our studio. We've really only had a few crazies who, came through and, I don't know, they just don't last long because it's just not our jam, at our academy. And after this crazy week at nationals, I just wanted to give a fresh take on what a dance mom life actually looks like and what a dance mom actually looks like, right? Because like just like anything else, any other stereotype, you can't fit a bunch of humans in a box. Like it just doesn't work that way. So I wanted to share my dance mom experience and journey. I was a very reluctant dance mom, mostly because I have 4 fucking kids. Okay. I don't have time for this at all. And went through a period of my life where everything was very, 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 very stressful. My plate was overly full all the time. And I was just living in a constant state of burnout for about 6 years. I was living in a constant state of burnout for about 6 years. And so I was just like, we did not do competitive dance until I was separated from their father when my oldest was 8. It's just ironic, right, that I had more capacity to do that after completing my marriage. So that's just a tiny plug on an episode that is going to be coming up on what a broken family actually looks like, because I do not subscribe to the common thought that a broken family exists simply because a marriage is complete. That's definitely not, that wasn't my story. That wasn't my case. It wasn't the case for my family. Anyways, so my oldest daughter, Eowyn, has loved dance, loved it since she could walk. So when she was 2, we were living with my mom and my sister in this big house in like the fucking desert of California. High desert. That's what it's called. High desert of California. And my mom was playing these, she found these like videos of a dance class on YouTube. And Eowyn loved it. She would just watch that same fucking video, by the way. It was just like the same video of the same one class. She watched it every day. And she would do the moves with them and stuff. It was so fucking adorable. She loved dance. But in order to, I told her, like, if you want to dance, you have to be potty trained. Like, that's just, those are the rules. You have to be potty trained. And so that's how I potty trained her. We went to the Disney store and we bought this beautiful pink princess tutu. And she was like, oh, and I was like, you can't wear it until you're potty trained. And so I hung it up in the bathroom and just, she looked at it every day until she was potty trained. And 10 weeks later, she finally got to wear her tutu. We took her to a local dance studio and signed her up for dance class. And she's just, that was it. That was it for her. 2.5, she knew exactly who she was, what she wanted to do, where her heart and her passion was at. That was it for her. She's always been a dancer. I'm guessing she will always continue to be a dancer. It's always been her first love. And with that studio, I didn't realize that I was signing up for competition. Maybe they disclosed that to me when I was like signing all the paperwork and I just wasn't like listening or comprehending or whatever. But the way that studio functioned was like, she just went straight into comp. So she had 2 comps and then a nationals. That was a lot for me at that time. Mind you, I just had the 2 kids. For me, my motherhood journey, going from 1 kid to 2 kids was the hardest adjustment. Like learning how to split myself and my love and my attention to go towards multiple children. That was like such a huge stretch for me. I had a really hard time adjusting from 1 kid to 2 kids. So that tiny little comp season was like, this is a lot. Can we just do dance that's like not competition? Yes, of course you can. You just have to ask questions. So that was our first year of dance at 2.5. And then we moved to Wisconsin that fall, actually. We moved to Wisconsin that fall. So after that first dance season, we moved to Wisconsin and got into the studio that we are still with. I love our studio so much. They're really, really great. And the thing I love the most is that there's always a space for everybody. Whether like the kid is completely new to dance or they have experience in dance just somewhere else. And, that studio didn't put an emphasis on, like ballet or tap, like our studio, like it doesn't matter where you start. If you come to our studio, they find a spot for you always, whether that's in recreational dance or competitive dance. If you audition for a competitive dance, like they're so good about just bringing everybody in, finding the spot where you're going to grow and thrive, and just making space for everybody, right? Like, you could be 12 and never had danced before or just had very, very little dance experience. They will find a spot for you. I love that about our studio. Anyways, I digress. So then when Aria was, 2.5 and stuff, and it was time to be like, hey, you want to do dance, kid? It was just a different experience because she's a different kid. She wanted to do it because her sister was doing it. AON as a 2.5-year-old in dance class, she was focused, did exactly what her teacher told her to do. She never fucked around. She was like there, committed. She practiced at home without me needing, I didn't push her to practice at home. She wanted to practice at home. The child is always dancing constantly. Like the thing that I have to talk to her about all the time is like spatial awareness, AON, especially as she's gotten older. She's very tall. She's got these long, beautiful arms and legs that she kicks all the time. You're not safe walking next to her because she could at any moment break out into some sort of leg lift kick fucking shit. And it's like, God, kid, spatial awareness. I don't feel like your foot being in my face right now. So AON has always been like, okay, when I'm in class, I'm paying attention. I'm not fucking around. I am here to learn. I love this. Aria has had like a love-hate flip-flop relationship with dance. She was the typical toddler who's hanging off the bar like a monkey. But she did enjoy it. It was different. And her love for dance has changed and grown and transformed over the years. So during COVID, we decided that the kids were going to take a break from dance because we didn't know anything. And I wanted to keep the kids safe. The only one at the time who would have like actually keeled over and died going an entire year without any kind of dance was AON. The other three were like, okay. They were fine. So I arranged to have AON have like a special solo. So she did not compete with her solo. She just worked with a teacher once a week. So she just had privates once a week. And then at the recital, she got to perform her solo. But the other three were like, okay, whatever, taking a break from dance. I don't care. But like the season before COVID, so, okay, because COVID happened like in the middle of a dance season, right? So that year was rough for Aria. She was already kind of like really super hot and cold with dance. And then we switched to Zoom classes and she was just done. I ended up having to just pull her early because it was just causing too much stress. And I didn't want to have to fight with her. And I was just like, this is fucking stupid. Like the world is on fire. She doesn't want to do Zoom dance classes. Fine. Fuck it. It's not worth it at all. Just pull her. And then after her year break from dance that summer, so like at the end of that season, in the summertime before the next season, she was like, I want to do competition. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Do you remember all the fighting that you and I did the year before when you were in dance? You didn't want to do it. And you took a year off and now like you want to jump into comp? Like, what? Competition's expensive. There's a big like money financial commitment difference with recreational dance and competitive dance. There just is. That's just how it is. So I made her do a year of recreational dance, and I was like, you aren't allowed to bitch. Not a single time. I don't want to hear you bitch. Not a single goddamn time about going to class. And you have to come to all of A1's competitions and, live that schedule with us. And if you do that, fine, you can do comp. And she did it. She did not complain about going to dance at all. I was very proud of her. And seeing her on stage at that recital that year, I was like, wow, she really loves this. Like, she loves it. And that's what I ask of my kids. Like, we've done, Aria tried karate for a bit and she really, really loved it. Awen and Aria are both involved in orchestra at school, which is another commitment. It's not really as time consuming because they do the orchestra lessons during school hours. But I have a fucking cello in my house that takes up space, I have to pay for said fucking cello and violin. The violin is tiny though, at least. Like, why do we have to pick the cello? It's beautiful, blah, 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 whatever. It's just very large. But that's all I ask is that, like, I will support you 100%, but you gotta love it. I'm not going to be the one convincing you into doing this. I'm not going to be the one like forcing you to do it. It can't ever be my idea. It's got to be their ideas. And we've done sports too. We've done softball and we've done soccer. Soccer, we ended up quitting, not mid-season, like she did finish the season, but it was Laurel and my 8-year-old. Laurelyn and Ozzy did it, and then Laurelyn did it a second year. But that second year, we were walking over to her field, and she's like, Mom, I don't think I want to do soccer next year because I really hate running. Running's just not my thing. And I'm like, I feel you. I hate running too. But I'm proud of you for trying something new and for sticking this season out because we're not quitting mid-season. She's like, oh, no, I'm not. I don't want to quit right now. I just don't want to do it next year. And that was it. I was like, fine. That's fine. I don't count the dollars or time that I spent helping them do, like, try out karate and try out soccer and try out softball. Although they do all love softball. We didn't do it this year, but it was like a other thing. It wasn't because they didn't want to do it. But I don't count all of that, the time and the money that went into that as like wasted, because it was a step in helping my kids learn who they are, right? Because like AON is an anomaly. Most of us don't know who we are at 2.5. That's fucking weird. Okay. And she might change. She might change later on. And that might be like a whole fucking identity crisis for her because all she knows is dance. All she knows as her identity is to be a dancer. And so if that changes later on, I would anticipate there to be a huge inner struggle with accepting that change. But most of us aren't AON. We don't know who we are at fucking 2. And that's okay. It's fine. That's what life is about. It's about trying things and seeing what we like and what we don't like and what serves us in this given growth period that we're in, what will help us grow into the next best version of ourselves. And so I don't count any of it as wasted. And those are my thoughts. And I think that if you are the type of person who gets really stressed out or like disappointed or just frustrated at your kids when they try something and they're like, this isn't really for me, I want to quit. And it's like, there's a struggle there because you have thoughts about what it means to quit. And I don't think that it's a problem to quit. I think quitting actually takes quite a bit of strength because of the negative associations with it, right? Like if you if you have the gall to say, this isn't for me, this, for these reasons, right? This isn't for me. It's stressing me out. It's like bringing my quality of life down, whatever the reason may be. Or if it's just as simple as just like, I just don't like it. That takes such guts to say that, because most people are going to respond to that and like, well, you don't get to just quit. You got to keep going. Like sometimes you just don't like it and you just got to keep going. And there is a time and a place for that lesson, right? Like if you are just in a moment of like fucking exhaustion and you want to just give up because you're tired, but ultimately like your goal is still your goal and that is still what's going to serve the next best version of you. You need someone to be like, hey, look, you're just fucking tired. Go get some sleep and we're going to keep going tomorrow. I feel like I'm on a little bit of a tangent, but anyways, to see the transformation in Aria this year, this was her first year of competitive dance. She wanted it so bad and I made her work for it. I made her work for it for a year. And to see the transformation in that kid this year, holy fuck. I'm so proud of that fucking kid because she showed up every single day. And, you know, there were days where she was tired or hungry. Like she gets hangry really, really quickly, like her mom. And so so she has some of the dance classes are like right after school. So it's like we're picking you up and your ass is going directly to class. And so if she doesn't have an adequate amount of food to fuel her as we're driving her to dance class, then we have a fucking problem. Like she has a fucking problem. She's like, no, I refuse. I'm not doing this hungry. Right. So there were days, and it's fine to complain. You know, I don't want to create a space where my kids aren't allowed to be human. It's okay for it to be hard. It's okay to verbalize. This is hard. I'm tired. My body is sore from class yesterday. I'm hungry. All of these things. So, you know, there were lots of conversations like that, and that's normal. It's totally fine. That's not a problem that existed. But the kid showed up and showed up and showed up and pushed herself and fucking shined. Just to see her on stage and see her shining and doing the thing that she loves, that she worked so hard for and works really hard for every single day. Just such a proud moment for me as a mom. Such a proud moment for me as her mom. Because I got to be there. I got to be there with her when she went up there and achieved her goal. They performed at nationals. And you know what? Her team got to go to best of the best. So the competition, the way that it's structured, this one that we did, the first and second place, but not always second place. I don't know. But the top two-ish numbers of each like section got to perform again on Friday for best of the best. And then best of the best gets its own competition. So then each category, well, it's really more like level that you're at. There's 3 different levels and then the ages. Anyways, they got ranked, you know, first, second, third. My daughter, Aria, this is her first year at competition, and they had restructured the team that they put her on. So last year, I'm pretty sure the petites only performed 2 numbers at all the competitions. They were not in best of the best last year. And this year, their main goal was to get platinums and double platinums in their overall placements. Not only did they get platinums and double platinums, I'm pretty fucking sure that they got an elite platinum actually for their lyrical, and their lyrical did go to best of the best. They didn't place in best of the best, but who fucking cares? They made it to best of the best. There's over 1,000 numbers that perform in nationals throughout the week. And out of thousands of numbers, their lyrical got to perform at best of the best. That's a huge, huge, huge accomplishment for her first year in comp. Are you kidding me? So proud. Also, I'm super impressed with my voice, the fact that I have one after all of the screaming and yelling that I did over the week while all the girls were performing. So that was Aria's like journey as a dancer. And then Laurelyn, she's pretty quiet, and it's the best way to describe Laurelyn. She's just low key. She's just a homebody. But this year she was like, I want to do competition. And I'm like, okay, let's get through this year of recreational dance. You know, same deals with Aria. You can come with me to all of the competitions to see if the schedule's pretty grueling. And Laurelyn is probably my biggest introvert. Aowen is also an introvert. I think Laurelyn is a little bit more of an introvert than her. I've watched many a times when we're in like public situations or whatever, just watch her battery go. You could see it happen on that poor baby. And so I'm like, you need to come with us to all of these because it's a lot. And I don't know if your energy can like keep up with it. She fucking kept up with it. And so Aowen and Aria, again, my two oldest, they are going to have solos next year. And Laurelyn was like, I don't ever want a solo. Like, I don't ever want that. Just personality differences, right? Like, you don't have to do a solo. That's just an extra thing if you want to. She doesn't want it at all. That's like her worst nightmare is to be on stage by herself. But watching her grow in recreational classes this year, I know I'm super biased. Okay, I get it. Whatever. She was the best one in her classes. All three of her classes, she was the best fucking one. And I know it's not just me because they placed her in the front and they placed her in the center. And like, she's it. She's good. She's solid. She knows it. She was like one of two kids who actually knew the whole routine. I'm so proud of her, especially since it takes a lot more for her to come out of her shell. And to see her on stage, like up there, just shining bright. So proud. I'm going to cry. I'm so proud of my kids. And then Ozzy. And then there's Ozzy. Oh, that kid. So I think, would this year be? No, it wasn't. Last year was her first year of full dance because her first year of dance was COVID year when everything got shut down and we went to Zoom classes and didn't participate in the recital because I was like, I don't feel like that's safe. This year, Ozzy quit dance around December, and she was just like, Mom, I just want to dance on the stage. I don't want to do class. Class is boring. I just want to dance on the stage. Why can't I just dance on the stage? And she said that in front of Aowen and I. Aowen, who's worked literally her whole life. And we're like, Oz, that's just not how it fucking works. Wouldn't we all just love to go straight to the stage? That's not how it works. You have to go to class. I was done fighting with her. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the lesson of like, gotta finish what you started. I was like, no, because I'm gonna finish this child pretty soon if I gotta fight with her any more times to go to class. Like, just no. She's in kindergarten. Gah! No. Nay. Just pulled her out. And then the fucking kid wants to do dance. And I'm like, you can fuck off. Like, just go climb fuck off mountain right now. I'm not. No. Signed her up for summer tumbling class. And the studio owner texted me. She's like, I want to talk to you about Ozzy, but it's a good talk. And I was like, you've got to be shitting me. Apparently Ozzy has really grown a lot, and she was like being very courteous and kind and whatever in class. And she was like, I swear that kid moves just like Aowen. And I'm like, it's because Aowen's been working with her. Aowen's goal in life is to like convert everybody into a competitive dancer. She's been working with her sister. She works with all of her sisters at home, except for Aria, because she's just like, you're not the boss of me, Aowen. You don't know everything, Aowen. Fuck off, Aowen. So we're going to try her in dance intensive. So our studio does a dance intensive week every summer. And it's literally like Monday through Friday. And it's school days. It's just fucking 6 hours of dance Monday through Friday. And then at the end of the week is the auditions for comp, if that's what you want to do. So we're trying her in intensive. And I had to listen to all of the, but it's not fair, Mom. It's not fair. You made me do a whole year of recreational dance and then Ozzy quits and she gets just to go do it anyways. And I'm like, it's not fair. You're right. You're absolutely right, kid. It is not fair. But the best thing about being the mom is that I get to change my own rules whenever I see fit. And Aria, you actually are the reason you've paved the way for your sisters, because I did make you jump through all of those hoops and I made it hard for you. I was like, you got to work for this. And I saw you shine this year. And so you've created all of this potential in my mind for your sisters and what's possible for them when they're ready to do something and they really want it. And I allow them to go for it. So it's your fault. I mean, she didn't really care about that. She just kept harping about how it's not fair. But life isn't fucking fair, kids, okay? Anyways, my kids all had they've had different journeys in becoming dancers and wanting to dance and all of this stuff. And I've had to adjust like my thoughts of what they should do to prove themselves, and just adjust my expectations and my thoughts about what life would look like. It's a lot, because it's a lot. It is. It's a lot. We're at the dance studio Monday through Thursday. I'm positive if all 4 of my kids make it, which they will, because like I said at the beginning, my studio is so wonderful at making space for everybody. They create space. It's all is welcome. We're going to create a space for you to grow and thrive if you want to be here. If you want to be here and we can see the potential in you, we will create space for you. I'm sure with all 4 of my kids in comp and with the older 2 doing solos and my older one also doing a duet, we will be at the studio 5 days a week. And then acro is every other Saturday morning. So like 6-ish days a week. They're not at school. They're going to be at dance. But that's what they want to do, right? And I understand that choice and that schedule and that financial commitment, because it is very expensive, but expensive is a thought, okay? I'm going to tangent a little bit right now. Expensive is a thought. I have heard someone complain about, a $7 sandwich as being too expensive. And then you hear other people and they're buying something a high ticket item for $5,000 and they think it's a steal. And then everything in between, because expensive is just a thought. So is it expensive? Yes, for me, it's expensive. But I'm fortunate enough to have my mom who helps me. And I'm fortunate enough to have my business that is growing and thriving. And I know that it will be a multi-million-dollar company one day. I am fortunate to have resilient children who create their own business. They created sisterly bracelets with the sole purpose of helping to fund their competition fees. So expensive is in the eye of the beholder, I suppose. What my kids get out of dance is so much more than just dance. They push themselves and they set these, insane goals, and then they crush them. They learn teamwork. They learn resiliency. They learn how to push through like painful physical sensations when their bodies are sore from dancing their asses off and working out, because they, obviously do workouts to strengthen muscles and stuff. And they still have to go to school the next day. They still have to go to dance after school the next day when their bodies are really sore. And they have their dance family who surrounds them with love. And yes, there are like catty fights and just little whatever. You're going to get that wherever you go, just because they're children and they're trying to figure out social dynamics. There's hormones at play. There's all the things, right? They're getting that at school too. And to see all of my kids be able to go on these huge stages and not be scared. They're going to conquer the world. It doesn't matter if they dance. It doesn't matter if they end up in an entertainment field at all. The fact that they can go on stage in front of these huge audiences and just rock the shit out of it, they're not going to be scared of heading a meeting in a boardroom or of starting their own business and having to, do marketing and advertising and talking to people and getting out there. Dance has helped my kids learn the very valuable lesson of confidence, of having their own back. When the scores come in and it's not what you thought it was going to be, still knowing that what you put out there on the stage was good enough. It was your everything. You just never know what the judges are thinking. And you never know what people are thinking, right? It very rarely has anything to do with you if someone is ripping you a new asshole or taking frustrations out on you. And my girls are learning that now. Like I said, the scores come in and it's not what they expected it to be. The conversations that we're having are, you never know where the judges are at. First of all, I actually have no idea how they sit there and watch hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of dance and they don't walk out with their eyes bleeding, brain hemorrhaging out every orifice. I don't know how they actually are paying attention to be able to critique, and I have no idea. I'm like, guys, you might have just been up there when they were having a brain bleed moment, or they were really hungry. What if you went right before the snack break, the intermission, or they had to pee, or they got distracted by something in their head or by their neighbor judge and they just weren't fully present. You never know. Or maybe you sucked. That's possible. Maybe you guys just messed up, and that's okay. It's okay to mess up because we're humans, and the mess ups make us do better next time. They make us work harder, grind harder, practice more, and we show up better next time. There is no failing or losing. There's only winning and learning. That's it. And that's the lesson that dance is teaching my kids. That lesson is priceless. Take my money because this is what my kids want to do. And these are the lessons that they're learning. I'm all in. But again, those are my thoughts. And it's okay if your thoughts are different. It's okay if you don't want to be carting your kids, Monday through Friday and every other Saturday morning to the studio or the ice rink or the karate place or whatever it is, the swimming pool, the soccer field, the football field. That's okay. It's okay if you don't want to do that, but it's also okay that I do want to do that. And just so often in motherhood in general, we judge each other so harshly, right? Like people will, I'm sure, look at me and be like, she's fucking nuts. I don't know why she's doing all of that. I would never. That's fine that you would never. That's totally fine. And I don't know, I'm losing my train of thought again, but wouldn't it be nicer if we accepted everything as neutral? My decision to let my kids, all 4 of them, do competitive dance is neutral. And your decision to limit your kids' extracurricular activities to something that's like once a week is neutral. And the person in between us, their decisions is also neutral. And the person who says, no, you guys aren't doing shit, I don't care, also neutral. If everything was neutral and there was no right or wrong way to handle extracurricular activities, then it would just leave all of this space for us to love and support each other. Wouldn't that be nicer? And it would feel so much better. We wouldn't be holding on to bitterness and resentment and resistance in our bodies, which would be a hell of a lot less stressful, right? So I just wanted to offer my experience as a dance mom to you guys. And I wanted to offer my thoughts of being a dance mom to you guys. There have definitely been many years that I spent resisting being a dance mom, resisting getting to know the other dance moms because I clung on to the thought of like, they're all snotty bitches and, probably think that their kids are better than my kids and I don't want any part of this. I actually spent time getting to know them, and it's not true. It's just not true. As I kind of had like an out of body experience one day at nationals because my friend that that we drove down with and had a hotel room with, she's a lot like me where we're both just introverted. We're like, we have our 2 friends and we're fine. But she's kind of isolated herself a little bit. And so I was like, okay, I'm setting this goal for you for this week where we're going to talk to people. You don't have to like become BFFs with anybody. Like, she's it for me. She's my one and only best friend at the studio. But I also have like acquaintance friends, and just having some kind of a relationship with the other moms, it helps significantly because, when we're backstage and I ran out of bobby pins or I forgot, Eowyn didn't have her socks for hip hop or, something, it's just yelling backstage, anybody have fill in the blank, and someone's got me. And then when it's their turn, I've got them, and I've got them without any like judgy bitchiness in my head of like, your daughter's been doing comp since she was 2 and you fucking forgot your bobby pins, you bitch. Like, what the fuck? Why were those thoughts there? They weren't serving me at all. But there was a night when pretty much everyone was just chilling at the hotel. So many of the kids were in the pool. And I ended up socializing a lot. And I went to bed early that night. But I was just when I got up to get a drink, chatted with some other people, and then came back and they were pulling me into that table and, pulled a chair. And so I ended up, we had 4 comp lines that were at nationals. The minis didn't go to nationals. So it was petites, teen, junior, senior company. And I have friends on all the lines, even though my daughters are only on 2 lines. And I had to take a step back and pat myself on the back, because that takes a lot of effort for me. It is how can I properly explain this? I was the child in grade school who preferred to sit under the tree and read a book than socialize and play with other kids. I was like, I've already been in a classroom with you all. I need a break. That's always been me. And I wouldn't talk in class at all. I was terrified of raising my hand and talking in front of people, even though I knew the answer most of the time, because I've always been a very good student. I just did not want any attention on me. I didn't want to talk to anybody, nothing. And so to go from that kid to the woman who just walks around and is being called this way and that way and that way and that way, because I've grown my capacity to let people in, and not in all the way, right? Because that also takes work, is learning how to let people in, but also have there be levels to that. Like I said, Jess is my best friend. The other ones are not my best friends, and that's okay. They range from pretty good friends to acquaintances to I'm still just barely remembering your name every time, but we're friendly to each other. And I know that if I need some bobby pins, you got me. I was just really proud of myself. That takes such huge effort for me, and it is now effortless. Talking to some of the moms, they were really surprised to hear that I'm an introvert. And I'm like, oh, yes. And they're like, I never would have thought that of you, because this is just so, it just seems so easy for you. I'm like, no, I worked really, really, really hard to get to this point. It took me a very long time to learn how to be myself in front of anybody. But I'm here. I have arrived. But you know what? My kids, they don't have to wait until they're 35 to be exactly who they are in front of anybody, because they are in dance. All 4 of them know exactly who they are, and they are cozy with it. Ozzy is friends with everybody, even though she's not in dance technically this year, but she, lives at the dance studio with me and her sisters. She's best friends with all of the senior company, all of the teen company, the junior line. She could walk into the studio and whoever is in the lobby is like, Ozzy! Laurelyn just, finds a corner to wait quietly in for me to pick her up. And she's fine with that. She's not lonely or sad and like, Ozzy has more friends than me at all. She's like, I don't want to talk to people. I just want to wait here by myself. They're all just their own beautiful, glorious people. They know exactly who they are. And I believe that it is because they dance. And it's also because they have a mom who does the work on herself, right? So this episode is much longer than I anticipated it to be, but I hope that it was helpful for you guys to get a peek of like a real dance mom life, right? It's so much work. It's so much effort. But it's also so worth it. And those are my thoughts. And that's what fuels me. That's what makes being in Tennessee for a week not stressful for me. Because I love seeing my kids doing what they love to do. Let me look at my notes really quick to make sure. Whatever. It's fine. There are a couple things that I left out, but we're good. So those are my thoughts on being a dance mom and extracurricular activities. And you know what? If your thoughts are different, I want to hear about them because all thoughts are welcome here. You are not your thoughts. I am not my thoughts. We get to choose our thoughts, right? So I want to know your thoughts, and I want to know, did you choose those thoughts intentionally? What about those thoughts serves you and serves your family? And let's have a discussion where everything is neutral and everything is fine. As long as we're intentionally choosing it and it's serving us and we like our reasons, then it's all Gucci.
Are you living your one wild life to the fullest? You're not? Why the fuck not? What are you waiting for? The time to live is now, mama. Do not wait until your youngest is in college. Let your dreams hire me for an hour so I can explain how I can help you achieve any goal in your life. You've put yourself off long enough. It's time to pour into you. The link to schedule your 60-minute complimentary consultation is in my show notes. Join the community of Fuck It Moms by following me on Instagram and Facebook at Fuck It Mothering. That's fuck without the U. So FCK It Mothering. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss your weekly encouragement. And please rate, review, comment, and share. All of these things help with the algorithms, so that way when other overwhelmed moms are looking for encouragement, they can find me. Every month, I give away one of my favorite books and a Starbucks card to a lucky winner. All you have to do to enter is write a review or tag me in social media when you share an episode. See you next Sunday, gorgeous.